Friends Final Four, introducing the IPA bracket. Our number 1 seed has a strong showing, 6-point Bengali Tiger from Red Hook, Brooklyn. Always a great beer, and they'll be facing off against Green Flash West Coast IPA, which is coming in at an 8 seed. Not very well known. Green Flash IPA hasn't been around for that long, but actually is only a few years older than Brooklyn, or than 6 Point, which is our diaper dandy. Next we have Stone IPA at a 4 seed playing Harpoon IPA. 2 regulars, both strong, right in the middle. We'll see how that game goes. Next we have Ithaca Flower Power at a number 3 seed playing Sierra Nevada Torpedo at a 6 seed. A little bit shocking that Sierra Nevada Torpedo came in at such a low seed against Ithaca Flower Power, but Ithaca Flower Power, even though it's unknown, has been having a great year so far with its interesting floral hops compared to Sierra Nevada Torpedo, which is a aggressively hopped beer. And finally, we have Magic Hat Lucky Cat coming in a number 7 against a number 2 seed Brooklyn Blast, which is a not very well-known IPA from Brooklyn Brewery. However, it's very well-rounded. Probably the strongest team to look for out of this bracket, despite its number 2 ranking. Very well-rounded, both in draft and cask, and that's the one that I have my eye on right now. Another upset-minded team might be the Ithaca Flower Power. You know, like I said, not very well known, but could make a very strong showing.
Hi, this is Brad from the Beer Friends with your Stout Bracket. Coming in at number 1 is the Brooklyn Black Chocolate Stout out of Williamsburg, Brooklyn, New York. This is a very strong seed. Brooklyn has established itself as one of the top 40 brewers in America. But look out! The number 8 seed is the Docile Alley Shaft House Stout. This was a favorite of mine a few years ago when I used to live in Central City, Colorado. We'll see how this game plays out. Coming in at the number 3 seed is the 6 Point Guerrilla Warfare Porter. This is brewed with Guerrilla Warfare coffee out of Park Slope, so it's a local favorite. They are playing number 6 Flying Dog Gonzo Imperial Porter, inspired by the artwork and dedication of Hunter S. Thompson. The number 4 seed is Cooperstown Strike Out. Cooperstown uses mostly local hops to brew their beers, and at number 5 comes the Atwater Brewery out of Michigan with their Java Vanilla Porter. Both good, solid mid-round picks. Number 7 has the Winter Warlock Oatmeal Stout out of Bristol Brewery in Colorado Springs, Colorado. This is a fantastic brewery, and don't be surprised if they take over the number 2 seed, which is Left Hand Milk Stout. Although Milk Stout itself wins many awards through tournaments all over the world. So this should be an exciting bracket, and we'll look for what it does day to day with the help of your votes.
Hey, this is Paul with the Beer Friends with your Red, Amber, and Brown, or RAB bracket, I suppose. First seed, we got number 1 versus number 8. We got Brooklyn Brown, Brooklyn out of Williamsburg, New York, and Brooklyn, and Dogfish Head, Indian Brown Ale, out of Milton, Delaware. Brooklyn's a strong number 1 here. It's a good strong brown ale. I like it a lot, and it's going against a good Dogfish Head beer. But I feel that the Dogfish Head's out of its place in this bracket, being it's a hoppier brown ale. I feel it would have been best suited in a different bracket, but being a brown ale, it belongs in here. So I look for Brooklyn's consistency to take this one and lead them into the next round. Next, as a 4 seed, we got Captain Lawrence Brown Bird Brown Ale out of Pleasantville, New York, versus New Belgium Fat Tire out of Fort Collins, Colorado. Fat Tire being a 5 seed. This one goes either way, in my opinion. Both of these beers are pretty rare and pretty difficult to find on the opposite coast. So this is really going to break down to a east versus west. Captain Lawrence being out of New York and New Belgium being very popular in Colorado and the west coast. Next we have Saranac Irish Red out of Utica at a number 3 at Utica, New York, the number 3 seed, versus Green Flash Hophead Red Ale out of San Diego at a 6 seed. Now, Saranac Irish Red is great. It's a really good red ale. It's very popular this time of year, being that it's March and around St. Patrick's Day. And the love of all things Irish might carry this one in. I looked at Green Flash to make a good run at this one. While it's hoppier, like the Indian Brown Ale, it's a smoother ale. It's not as hopped. So I looked to this one to make a good run at this bracket. And I think Saranac might get upset in this in this matchup. And then at number 2, we got Harpoon Celtic Ale out of Boston versus Trogs Hop Back Amber Ale out of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. This is a good, strong red ale. Good Celtic. The Celtic Ale is brewed. Just started brewing it for St. Patrick's Day in Boston as a celebration. This became Harpoon's Spring Ale. It's a strong ale. It's a good ale. It's your normal red, and I looked at this one to beat out the hoppier amber ale from Trogs. That's it. That's my bracket.
Hey, I'm Phil with the Beer Friends with your Wildcard bracket for the Beer Friends Final Four. The first competition we have is between Brooklyn Dark Matter, the number 1 seed, and Deschutes Black Butte Porter. Now, this is an interesting matchup because it's the East Coast versus West Coast. Brooklyn Dark Matter obviously being out of Williamsburg, Brooklyn. But Deschutes Black Butte Porter, not that well known over here on the East Coast, but it is a crowd favorite back in the Pacific Northwest. Both of them being on the darker side of there should be a pretty good matchup. The Deschutes being the 8th seat in this bracket here, mostly being not as well known as the Dark Matter, should be a pretty good matchup there. The second game we got here is Magic Hat Vinyl versus 6 Point Sweet Action, kind of a New England competition going on here, New York versus Vermont. Also an interesting matchup, Sweet Action being on the lighter side, on the sweeter side, I don't know if you'd guess by the name, versus Magic Hat Vinyl, a little darker, a little more malty on that side, should be pretty good. Vinyl's the number 4, Sweet Action's the number 5, so pretty close in their ability to play each other there. The third game is Magic Hat Howl versus our surprise entry here, Bud Light with Lime. Interesting. Bud Light obviously larger than most of the other ones, with the Lime being kind of the offshoot. It is the number 6 seat, being that it is Bud. It does come in above Deschutes, which is an interesting choice. But I'm kind of looking more towards Magic Hat Howl. It's more flavorful, not quite, more substantial. I think Bud Light may just not have the body to take this competition through to the end. But we'll see. And then the last game is Pilsner Urquell, our favorite one from over on the east, way east, versus Stone Arrogant Bastard. Now, my pick, Arrogant Bastard, is the number 2 on that. Pilsner's the number 7 seat for this bracket. Pretty sure Arrogant Bastard's going to come over on top of that. But Pilsner it's a crowd favorite for when you're going to a beer garden or the German-themed place like that. So, anyway, those are your choices for Wild Card. Make sure to check back, vote. Make sure that your favorite beer comes through all the way to the end, and we will check back with you for the final when we get down to number 1. All right, stay tuned.